When you travel around the world, you see tremendous variation in standards of living. The average income in a rich country such as United States, Japan, England is more than 10 times the average income in a poor country such as India, Indonesia, and Nigeria. These large differences in income are reflected in large differences in the quality of life. People in richer countries have better nutrition, safer housing, better healthcare, and longer life expectancy, as well as they have more cars, more houses, more telephones, more televisions. Even within a country, there are large changes in the standard of living over time. For instance, in United States, the real GDP, that is measured the living standards per person, has grown by about 2% per year. Although 2% you think that is very small, this rate of growth implies that average income doubles every 35 years. Because of this growth, most Americans enjoy much greater economic prosperity than did their parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. Growth rates vary substantially from country to country. In recent history, some East Asian countries like Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan have experienced economic growth of 7% per year. At this rate, average income doubles every 10 years, so that means a poor country can be the richest in a period of time, okay? And over the past 2 decades, China has enjoyed an even higher growth rate, about 12% per year, according to some estimates. So with that rapid growth, countries can catch up. It doesn't mean that if you are poor, you are going to stay poor forever. So the poor countries can catch up the rich ones. And at the same time, rich countries has to keep their living standards. If they don't follow the policies, they may there may be shrink in their income too. So in this chapter, what we are trying to do is we are going to look at what explains these diverse experiences and how can rich countries maintain their high standards of living. On the other hand, what policies should poor countries pursue to promote more rapid growth and join the developed world? These are very interesting questions because if you can understand the reasons why some countries are rich, you can prescribe some policies for the poor countries. And also you can prescribe rich countries how they can keep their standards of living. And in the previous 2 chapters, we discussed how economists measure the macroeconomic quantities and price. Now we begin to study forces that determine these variables. So we know how to measure, now we will look at the determinants of them. As we have seen in economies, GDP measures both the total income earned in the economy and also the total expenditure on the economy's outputs of goods and services. So the level of real GDP is a good gauge of economic progress, is a good gauge of economic prosperity, and the growth of real GDP is a good gauge of economic progress. So we have 3 steps here in this chapter. First, we will look at the international data on real GDP per person. This data will give you some sense of how much the level and growth of living standards vary around the world. And second, we examine the role of productivity, the amount of goods and services produced for each hour of a worker's time. And then third, we consider the link between productivity and the economic policies that a nations pursue.